Where my girls at?
Taking the spice, you know, keep it locked in.
Where my girls at?
Keep on watching while the beat keep knocking.
Where my girls at?
You love the flow, it's the ladies' show.
Where my girls at? Yeah. Where my girls?
All right, everybody, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Everybody, we have a guest today. He goes by the name of Semi Shooter. We are going to talk with him and give him his interview in a second. In the meantime, let's get to it. Gurus on WBLS's weekend morning show. Talk of minority women was the subject. In the talk, Cardi B and Amber Rose names came up. It was mentioned how Cardi B had a shocking, quick outburst of criticism towards President Joe Biden on her IG page. Following that, the two women talked and mentioned Amber Rose. Amber Rose's recent picture with Donald Trump and suggested she's getting a check from the Trump campaign to talk against President Biden. Gurus, how do you feel about Amber Rose being seen with the Trump campaign? And does a person's politics play a role in how well you like them as a celebrity?
Well, you know, for me, I'm not a big fan of Trump, never been, never will be. I would say that Biden ain't no better either, made false promises, you know. So at this point, we're just lose for lose. So Amber Rose, she's an airhead, and she's always going to be an airhead. And I blocked her because she's an airhead. And that's it. And that's all for her. She's an airhead. She's an ultimate airhead.
I mean, we've seen Trump associate him, particularly associate himself with white supremacists. Now, being that, anyway, does political views of a celebrity bother you in general?
Personally, I feel like Amber Rose is just a clout chaser. I think she knows that this is going to get her out there. People are going to talk about it because she's biracial, supposedly. I mean, well, yes, she is. I don't know. I'm not there. I don't know.
We don't care.
But I think, yeah, in reality, who does care? Not me. But I think with Amber Rose, like she is only Amber Rose because of controversy, right? So we only care about her because of everything. So she knows the game. She's playing the game. I'm not saying she doesn't support him, but it's like what you were alluding to before with the racist stuff. Like they say, you know, not all Trump supporters are racist. However, all racists are Trump supporters. Right. So when you align yourself with those types of people and you're a celebrity, then you got to expect backlash in that regard. There's a lot of celebrities that do that, like Waka Flocka. He's doing the same thing. It's like it's a lame. Like who cares about Waka Flocka in this day and age, right? But like, of course, he's gonna go. All the Biden supporters get out of here. Okay, so what? Yeah. Like there's reasons for everything that they do.
It's crazy because in this day and age, like, relevancy is currency, right? So if you are popular, it doesn't really matter what your brand supports. It just matters how much you're seen and heard. And for a person like Amber Rose that maybe goes missing for a little bit and then comes back, it's like, what can I do to come back with a bang, right? Because you haven't seen me in a little bit, so I got to come back swinging. And I think right now with the presidential debate and all of that stuff with Trump and Biden in the news, course, like that's an opportune time to jump in and be like, oh, you know, Trump this, Trump that. But if we check your backlog and your history, you wasn't just saying that a few months ago. It's like, who are you true to? Like, you're not true to yourself. Exactly. So you're not true to yourself. So why would I follow you and support your brand? So I understand why you blocked her. It's like, that doesn't really align with my morals and my values and my truth. Why would I jump on something that I don't fully believe in or isn't a part of who I actually am to just get paid for it currently?
I think she's just dumb enough to really believe him. Like literally, I think that it's what it is. Is sometimes when people get to a certain status, right, they start to lose track of where they came from. So they're surrounded by all these affluent people. So they don't see the world as we all regular
Mhm.
people see it.
Mhm.
So
Right.
when they're all speaking in their little circles and they're
Mhm.
saying, this is why Trump is so great and this is why this is that, all
Right.
she's seeing is dollar signs.
Right.
You know, I got all this money. I like my
Mhm.
taxes low. I like this and that.
Right.
So I think she is just stupid enough to understand that. But a lot of times with like Republican people, and it's not even just Republican people, but a lot of establishment people, people that ride for the establishment, on either side, they tend to just like things the way that they are,
Mhm.
and their attention to
Yeah.
people's values, if it aligns directly with what they're dealing with, it doesn't matter to them. So this is where a lot of politicians lose track of what's important, because at the end of the day, there's a lot more of us than there is of them. So we're the ones
Yeah.
who are supposed to be voting. The problem is, can we get the vote out?
I don't even know if she's in the a tax bracket that he's trying to give a tax cut to.
And that's the thing. She's trying to work her way up to it. Like Marcy said, you know what I mean? When you're in certain rooms, we're not in them rooms, so we wouldn't know, you know what I'm saying? Like we're just like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, morals is what's more important. But for them,
Yeah.
it's like you're in a room of money is what's more important. What you gonna do about that?
They like give you that initiation. Like, okay, you want to be a part of this? Well, you got to do X, Y, and Z and say X, Y, and Z and be a
And
part
that's
of.
where it comes in, where they say you sell your soul because it's
Exactly.
not
Right.
you. It's
Exactly. It's
not
not you.
you.
Yeah. People get caught up on the whole Illuminati and all that. And it's like, yeah, that may be a part of it. I don't
Right.
know. But the selling of the soul comes from you being raised a certain way or having a certain set of beliefs. And then money coming in, you're like, you know what? I do believe that when you know you don't.
Yes. You
Yeah.
start doing things that go against your judgment, your better judgment, and you feel
Yeah.
so terrible when you go in the room and go to bed at night and you got to
Yeah.
think about these things. Nobody don't got to worry about it but you.
Like say I was to get signed tomorrow,
Right.
right? And I get
Right.
put in this room with people and they're like, hey, we really like this Travis Scott song. We want you to do more like this. If I do that and it pops, now I got to continue to do that. And that's not who I am.
See?
So it's gonna eventually come out that it's not sincere. So
Mhm.
you got to be careful because once you get in that space and you do that one time, they're gonna expect it, and that's in
That's
any
it.
capacity. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter if it's music or being an
Right.
There you
influencer or
go. There you
politics or
go.
Yep.
whatever.
And especially, the older you get, the more you learn and the more you understand. I just feel like as of right now, I feel like the industry is a sham. It don't matter if
Yeah.
it's TV industry, music industry,
Yeah.
it don't matter what it is. This is just all a facade. Like
Yeah.
Oh, well, Instagram ain't helping it
at
because
At
all.
all.
because you got a lot of the blogs that look for any negativity,
Any.
anything to make it seem like it's something to be able to get a click for them to get the money for it. For people who are trying to chase happiness and they try to chase it by saying that, oh, if they can get money or
Mm-hmm.
if they can obtain a
Mm-hmm.
certain thing, then
Yeah.
they'll be happy. But it's happiness doesn't start with all of that.
For
Start
real.
within.
Right.
Yep.
Start within. And that's what I was going to touch on too, as far as, it may be a little bit off topic, but it's still the same topic. But a lot of these influencers, I'm seeing them do a lot of things that's like just for money. So let's say, for an example now, Amber Rose, we already know that she's trying to come back out there like how she does every now and again. She's in hiding. She's back out with some controversy. She's in hiding. She's back out. But then it's like, when you're in hiding, what is it that you're doing for money? You're not going to get a 9 to 5. You're not going to
Nope.
do stuff that regular people do.
Nope.
What is it that you're doing to get money? You're doing nonsense. And I'm going to tell you what the nonsense is, because come to find out, them Claremont twins is a part. I don't know if I can say this word, but bestiality. And it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
for money, for you to
Yeah.
look good and take pictures and say, hey, I'm here and I'm rich and I got money.
Yeah.
Yo,
Are you kidding me?
there are people who have a lot of followers
Mm,
that cannot generate what they need to generate.
mm,
For example, look at Sexy Red is
mm,
it can't even get a tour. A
Yeah.
mm.
tour is gonna cancel before it even gets started. No matter how many followers you have, not everybody is going to pay for your particular thing that you're selling. Gurus, there was a question on social media. The question is, Ladies, is there a such thing as acceptable flirting? If so, how many times a day is that okay?
Huh?
Are there women who flirt even though they don't want the guy?
Let me tell you something.
I get what you're saying.
You're
I
a
get, I
man,
got that now.
Yeah.
and I have had this
Why is it not the
certain
same
things come
time?
up because like I'm a very friendly person, and sometimes men take that as flirting. Um, it happens all the time.
Yes.
So I think it's about, what the intention is at the end of the day.
It also comes down to the other person's like mental ability. I think it comes down to like who that person is and like what their mental state is, because you can see it as
No.
like, oh, this person wants to be with me, or oh, this person's being nice. So it's how you interpret it.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask you something? Because
Yeah.
I'm always happy when we have another man on the panel.
Right. We don't got a lot of men.
I was told that, most men, if not all, will take things in that way if a woman is extra smiley and nice and receptive. And I was told that most men will take that as, oh, she like me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, like I think age comes a lot. Age does a lot with it too. Like I'm 35, right? I'm mature. Like I'm mature enough to know that like not every female that I come in contact is gonna be quote unquote into me. So even if you're friendly with me, like that's just being friendly. You have to say something to me in a form where I'm like, oh, I definitely know. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I do know I have a lot of guy friends, and they're like, I think she likes me. And I'm like, I think she's just being friendly, bro.
Yo, he'll
But
come through like, yo, I'm about to smash. I'm about
yo,
to smash.
Yeah.
had conversations
That's what I
recently.
was told. That like, is that what goes on in the man's head?
And conversations.
Yeah, and that has a lot to do with ego too, like of the stature of like the man they think they are. So if you have this ego of like everybody wants me, then of course you're gonna take everything as that, you're gonna interpret it like that.
Let's play on your part. Yes, they do stuff like that. You feel what I'm saying? Certain women of certain calibers or a certain type of a look, they do that. Once again, it comes back to 360 of what we was already saying with you trying to get money to be able to maintain a lifestyle. You feel what I'm saying? And that's what we was already talking about before in the prior conversations. Now you're playing with people's emotions now. And when you do that, one like, let me see, Omar, like he was saying, you don't know what a person's mental capacity is. So you're sitting there playing games. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go on a date with you. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do this with you. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that with you. And then when it's time to do these things, the man is expecting these things because this is what you said you would do, or this is what you said the cards would probably play out to be, and that's not happening. Now, when I kill your ass, it's a problem.
I was about to say that's how you end up on a Lifetime movie.
You feel what I'm saying? Now, oh my God, he was this, he was that. No, you was playing with homie's intelligence. You don't play with emotions. You don't want him. Don't take nothing from him. Because the first sign of you taking stuff from somebody, they're going to feel like they own you. They feel like they over you. They're going to feel like they got control. They're going to always feel like you need me.
That's another question though. On the other side, when men participate in providing, right, and doing things for women, financially or whatever, and it's not necessarily like a set in stone relationship or whatever. Do you feel like that is something that gives you a one up, or you're owed something in return?
Not me, because I know the game.
I was going to say it depends on the man.
Mental capacity. Some people ain't, like, you might have all the street smarts in the world, but some people just ain't right up there. So a little bit of attention goes a long way in their mind because they never got that before.
Right,
You know, you
right.
see these people that had their makeovers, you know, people were ugly or had, you know, acne or whatever, and then they got their body right. Now they're getting attention, but mentally they still think that they're that person. So they get this attached form type of love, and now you're love bombing, pushing it on people because this one person said good morning to me or whatever the case may be. And I've seen it happen. It's happened to me where, you know, I gave somebody a shot and opened the door for her. Oh, I never had that before. Da, da, da. And it's like, I'm just trying to be respectful. I didn't need you to tell me you love me by the end of the night.
I said I just think a very good starting point in dating or flirting or whatever is like, you know, there are very few guys that are just nice guys. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not saying they don't exist. I know that they do. I've come across many of them. However, a lot of guys are doing stuff for stuff in return. You know what I mean? And it's not, and it's like if you think like okay, this guy, I never had a guy, you know, just come over here and what is it, shovel my driveway in a snowstorm. Because what
Right.
do you think he's doing
You think
that because he's just a nice guy? Like,
yeah.
no, you gotta be like, you have to be able to gauge like where your flirting can go and how that person receives the flirting. If you feel like that person is not somebody who you're really that interested in, he seems to be really gravitating towards the flirting part, then maybe you want to pull back a little bit and be like, whoa, I'm just being funny. I'm just like, how I'm like that kind of girl. I don't mean that, you know, and set the ground rules from the beginning. But like to sit there and just be like, oh, you know, like I need this done, so I'm gonna do this to get this, and you're putting yourself in a very dangerous place.
Yeah.
For everybody out there, we have a special guest here. He goes by the name of Semi Shooter.
Hey.
He is part of the BMF fam, and
Yeah.
we are glad that you are here, Semi. Everybody, let's welcome in Semi Shooter.
Hey. Appreciate y'all.
All right. So, Semi, you are a rapper, and you're not just a rapper, but you're an artist. You are a
Right.
business person, and so tell us about all that.
So yeah, I went to school at the Philadelphia Art Institute to be an audio engineer because I got tired of people telling me that they would help me out with my music when I was younger. So I went
I'm
and
gonna
got
give you a virtual high five for that because I went to Institute of Audio Research in Manhattan. So audio engineering, high five.
I appreciate. Hey, hell yeah, with the process of creating music like sonically, not just writing, but like the engineering process behind it of how to put everything together. And then you know, I wrote and wrote and wrote, like I pulled different styles from different people, um and then kind of found my own style, and that's what kind of like, you know, helped me get to the next level. Now, like creating my own brand, and yeah, I linked with Eli many years ago, and I think he saw something in me and like wanted to continue to work with me. But again, like I was not this version of Semi that y'all see today. I was wild and in the street, and you know I couldn't get right. And then I think once I got sober, and got into sobriety, like that's when my life went on to a better trajectory. And now I've been like traveling, doing a lot of shows. I mean, I was in Atlanta a few weeks ago at the Rick Ross Car Show. I spent a lot of time in New York. I leave for New York on Wednesday. Houston, I spent a lot of time in. I'm down here in Florida. And I do events as much as I can because I know whether I'm doing like a crowd event where it's like 1,000 people, or if I'm doing five people at a local bar, like I'm gonna give you the best show of your life because I always wanted to be like a performer. So with doing that, you know, I linked up with BMF, and they had a pretty strong brand. Wasn't really anybody pushed through them besides like Jeezy, which was like an undertone of BMF. But yeah, man, I mean, I linked with him, and then you know we talked about Fat Bible. That's my brother, man. Like he passed away right before Christmas from cancer, and I was taking a bunch of trips back and forth to New York to see him when he was doing chemo. and he's another person who inspired me not just to like continue doing music, but to be a better performer. Because it's one thing to be able to get in the studio and make a song. I could do that easy. I'm in my studio right now. I make music all day. But to go out and perform it, it's a totally different ball game, right? Like breath control, crowd control. What happens if the mic dies or whatever? How do you respond? And seeing Bible, he did a song and the shit was amazing, right? And then the DJ fumbled to play the next song, and he just started just going off and like talking and making people laugh, and then the music came in, and I was like, that is the type of artist that I want to be, right? I want to be the full package. So in doing so, like I got mirrors in my studio where I practice and performing, because I live by the mantra, if you stay ready, you don't got to get ready, right? I failed so many times that now I'm not afraid of failure, right? Like I used to rap over my vocals. Now I don't do that anymore, because when you see people perform, you see you hear the music and you're like, okay, yeah, that's cool. But when you see somebody MC and they're rapping without, you know, the vocals behind you, it gives you a different love for the game. You're like, this person's real craftsmanship is in it. So yeah, I mean that's kind of a little bit about me and how I came to be as far as Semi, right? That's that name came from my mom when I was, you know, I did everything before I got into music. Like rapping, I played a bunch of different instruments and I played sports, but I didn't stick with anything long enough to be great at it. Like I was semi good at it. So my mom would always say I was semi, and then I just went and ran with that.
Oh, that's what's up.
That's a good story.
I have a couple of questions for you, but first off, how would you because you come off as very much an artist, not just a rapper, that you know means a lot of things. But how would you describe your style, and you know, like what makes you different than a lot of others?
I appreciate that question. It's a good question. I think what makes me different is there's a lot of cap in rap, right? Like a lot of people say things that they don't have, or they aren't vulnerable. And I think what makes me different is I'm vulnerable, right? I talk about my past and my past transgressions, and I also talk about where I'm at and like the struggles of being sober in a mainly like drug influenced industry. And I talk about like, you know, the pressures of like going on the road and females being attracted. And so I think that a lot of people, the fan base that I've gained, they've fallen in love with authenticity. And what somebody told me before is that they will fall in love with you before they fall in love with your music. So like I can be funny too. So I've learned to like bring that on the camera, because, you know, we live in the age of like cameras and stuff. So I used to clam up and like I wouldn't know how to act. But I think what people get from me is like authenticity. And, you know, my style is kind of similar to like it's a blend, because I listen to a lot of people, right? But I have like more of like a Tory Lanez undertone to it, because I do a lot of singing. But it's not like, I would not say I was a singer. Like my homies will tell me I'm a singer, but I'm like, I'm not a singer, because I have other people who I put up in this top bracket, like, you know, Chris Brown. I'm a huge Chris Brown fan, and I'm like, bro, he's a singer. I'm not no singer.
You
But
know how to carry
but
a
yeah,
note.
man,
You know how to carry a note.
exactly. I know how to harmonize. I know how to carry a note, and that'll get me by.
Yeah. And just like an interesting fact, what you just said about authenticity, I just saw something. They were doing research on the frequencies, if anybody's into it, the vibrations, the frequencies that we give off as human beings. And you know, surprisingly, what would you think that the strongest frequency is that we give off? Just guess. Guess at it. When we're in that emotion, when we're in that feeling, what would you think the strongest one would be?
The frequency, like the number of the
Anybody? No, like
in the 400.
You know, like love, anger.
Love.
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 I'm gonna guess love.
Yeah, I'll say.
Guess what it is? Authenticity. It's frequency. It's a frequency. So like that was interesting that you said that.
Oh wow.
That's very, very true. You do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Draw people to you through your authenticity. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I think anybody that I've ever tried to like follow or like be a part of their fan club, like it's from them being like themselves, you know, and being vulnerable. Like you can tell when a person is being a character, right? Like this is who the image that they've given me and this is who I have to be. But when like Chris, like I'll always go back to Chris Brown because look at his past, like his past, whatever, right? But I think that he has time and time again like authentically shown everybody who he is. And with that much spotlight and scrutiny, to be who you are is to be who you are. Like people for not forgave him, but they let that past issue go and still saw the artistry and the greatness of him. And that's from him authentically being talented.
Right,
So,
right,
yeah.
right.
Yep.
There are about 3 questions that I have, but I kind of want you to tie them all in one.
Okay.
Number one, what do you think the state of hip hop is? Number two, what do you think about AI's influence going forward in hip hop? And number three, how important is it for creatives not to be emotional about their business?
Oh man. So the state of hip hop. All right. So I would say this before Kendrick and Drake did their thing, I was kind of like, man, I don't even want to do music anymore. Like, because it was just oversaturated and watered down. I mean, I'm one of those people that can mix and record and master in my bedroom and put out as much music as I want to. So hip hop was at a very delicate state. Like a lot of our OGs, like they're not really putting out music anymore. It's like the people that are under their umbrella. You see a feature here and there from an OG, but you don't really see any big projects. The last big project I know from an OG was like Nas and Hit Boy did a project. So it was in a delicate state. So I would say hip hop is still kind of delicate because yeah, Drake and Kendrick did their thing and it brought back like lyricism and intention. But what happens when that dies down? Like somebody else is gonna pop up. Something else is gonna pop up. And is it going to be more lyricism and hip hop that pops up, or is it back to like the fugazi imagery and gimmick rap? So I would say hip hop is delicate. And then you asked me about the state of AI.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's weird. Like if it's AI to get you to be able to come up with an idea, cool, right? Build off that idea, but build off that idea authentically. AI takes away all the emotion. So yeah, if you want to sit there and I need a melody, so make me a melody that sounds like trap, and then boom, and then you build off that. But to just do everything from a thought to the computer and have AI generate it all for you, it's a slap in the face to us that like do that shit from the ground up. You know, and like hip hop was pioneered on people finding sound waves and making it sonically pleasing to our ears. So now you're taking all this emotion, talent, and effort. I mean, my 12-year-old niece that has no idea about music could sit here and make a whole song out of AI if she wanted to. So it's cool. It's cool. It's a technological advancement. But as far as being put into music, it's a huge hindrance, especially for people like myself or other artists that are trying to like build authentic brands and like putting your emotion and soul into a project.
Right.
And then my bad. What was the last question?
How important is it for creatives not to be emotional regarding their baby, regarding their whole thing?
I had to turn my comments off for like, I don't know, for like 6 months. People was hating on me, man. Nah. So I had to make a separation of like, if somebody doesn't like my music, they're not saying that they don't like Omar, right? They're saying that Semi song didn't speak to them. And that's fine. Because I know that every artist that I'm a fan of, there's songs on their album where I'm like, there's ass, you know what I mean? So I have to come with that same approach when I'm making music as an artist. Now, if it fits to my brand, for every 5 people that may like it, maybe 2 people don't like it, and I'm cool with that ratio. Because somewhere out there, you are going to find your people. And that's the importance of building a brand, because once you build that brand and you have that core fan group, you already know those people are the ones that come out and support. They buy merch, they buy tickets. So you can't be too emotional about it. You have to be able to separate the fact that you're an artist, you're also a human being. So if they don't like your art, that doesn't mean that they don't like you as a person. Yo, they say your life starts at the end of your comfort zone. So if you stay in that pocket, you're never really going to grow. You're like, okay, I can do this and I'm just good enough to do this. But, people are afraid of trial and error. Like the best advice that was given to me was, yo, fail faster. And once I did that, for real, because then I don't sit in this space of like, should I go? Nah, I'm not going to go. Should I go? Nah, I'm not going to go. And then a year has gone by and I didn't try anything and I just wasted a year. But if I go and I fail and then I come back and I tweak some things, I fail again. All right, now I only got a little bit more to tweak. Then the process goes. And then maybe 6 months from now, I'm like, that's how it was with me with mixing. I was trying to change my sound and I was like, this is going to be tough. But I kept going. And now people are like, yo, who mixes your songs? I'm like, right here.
Right.
By the way, when
that
you
was from
blow
trial
up,
and error.
when you blow up, make sure you put that man on payroll.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah.
And you got to keep real ones like that around you, because once they said, like, when you do it, when you start out, they think you're insane, right? They think you're crazy. And then when it happens, they're like, oh man, I knew he had it in him. I knew he was going to have it. Yeah, they're cheering. So I have some good people in my life. But to answer your question thoroughly, yes, it's super important to have those type of people in your life, because you never know. Once you get money, that's when the hands come, right? Everybody's hands out. Everybody wants a piece of that cake.
Semi Shooter, your words are very inspiring. You know what I'm saying? Those words of wisdom for all the creatives out there. Listen to these to those powerful words. I also want to say that shout out to Eli for making this happen. And also I want to say shout out to Fat Bible though.
Yeah, R.I.P.
R.I.P. You know what I'm saying? Because if it wasn't for Bible, we may not even be talking right now. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's real. That's real. He was really into God and spiritual and biblical and all that. So, look at God, man. One thing leads to another.
That's what it is. All right, everybody, let's go to LGS News. Debbie?
All right. In case you are busy or you just don't know what the hell is going on, this is the Lady Guru Show news for you. Yo Gotti stands up for Angela Simmons amid controversy over gun purse. Yo Gotti has weighed in on his girlfriend Angela Simmons' controversy over the weapon-shaped purse she brought to the BET Awards. Now, why, girl? An Instagram story he posted on Tuesday, July the 2nd, the CMG founder offered up a hilarious explanation to fans who still wonder why Simmons brought the gun-inspired purse to the award show in Los Angeles. He used the crying laughing emoji with the green squirt gun emoji and aimed it at the green and red emojis. So basically, he was just using all emojis to signify what he was feeling, I guess. His response came shortly after Simmons extended a lengthy apology. I want to address in a recent incident, let me stop, involving the green purse I carried to the BET Awards. Simmons wrote in her apology, when I chose the purse, I believed it was cute and unique, and I made a poor decision in using it as an accessory to amplify my beauty. I deeply regret that this item, which symbolizes a gun, was inappropriate, insensitive, especially given my personal and community experiences with gun violence. Well, damn. I guess you gotta apologize for everything nowadays.
This is fashion, right? What is she? I mean, why do they want her to apologize? This is somebody designed this.
Lying about that apology. She just
she
got backlash or whatever.
The PRs,
it looked like a real gun or something. I don't see no picture of it.
It did not. It was a green.
It wasn't a real. It looked like a real gun.
It looked like a real gun?
Yeah.
It looked like a real gun, but the color of it, you knew.
Yeah, it's like you could tell it's not.
Like
the color was so,
to me, it was too bulky to look like a real
I think
gun.
it's just tone.
But I think it's the
It's
principle.
just tone deaf and to be right.
Yeah. you know, as like a community of like gun violence. It was probably poor taste at the time. You know, look at all the mass shootings and people getting their kids shot. Like that was just not a good look, like at all. And I could understand if it was like Glorilla or Meg,
Right,
even
right.
Meg Thee Stallion. If Meg Thee Stallion did it, I would be like, that's hilarious, right?
Or Sexy Red or something.
Sexy Red, like it fits their image.
Yeah.
But for Angela, I'm like, that don't even.
I think she's feeling a certain type of way because she's with who she's
Yo,
she's
God,
with Yo
yeah, but just because you hang
but
around, you ain't one of
girl,
the
you
ones.
ain't grow up like that. Come on.
Yeah.
Or this could be a clickbait, and
There
it's like,
you go.
guys, I'm
There
still
you
here,
go.
guys. I'm still here, guys. Don't forget about me. Remember,
There you go.
Yep. And that's
Yep.
what's sad is like you never know in these situations. You never know. So when somebody pops up and does something controversial, we talk about that, but it's not, you know, the first
the real reason behind it.
Yeah, this isn't clickbait, but like, and even if we all know it is, it did what it was supposed to do.
Exactly.
It really did. Whether it was good or bad, they got that traction, baby.
She was like, let me issue this apology for nothing.
Right. Let me keep it cute with my PR team, and we're going to keep it moving. And y'all going to forget about it next week. Okay. In other news, Kodak Black wants to stop performing this song after getting sober. Kodak Black says he doesn't want to perform his hit song Super Gremlin anymore after he made strides towards leading more a healthy lifestyle. During an Instagram live session earlier this week, the Florida rapper says he hates that little ish while reflecting on his 2021 smash hit. He explained that he recently got sober for the most part and doesn't want to perform his songs which reference him taking drugs. But Kodak Black raps about drugs at least 70% of the time. Kodak might as well go ahead and stop rapping altogether, huh? Well, everybody, that was in case you were busy or you just didn't know what the hell is going on. Lady Guru Show news for you.
Hey gurus, Columbus Short has issued an apology after he received backlash from a statement he made on a podcast.
What is the difference between being with Black women and being with...
He comes into the home. They're not... What you talking about? Unless you giving me this, doing that, there's no respect of the man, the Black man, in that by black women. And I'm not, Black women do not be mad at me. Cook, girl, you don't even know how to cook. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's all Black women can side. That Asian, Korean, Japanese, that other side is where, you know, culturally, those women were not, those women were taught to hold down. But it's more than subservience. It's don't get it twisted. I know you know how to cuss cuss a man out thoroughly, but as soon as you cussing him out, you still making dinner, you still washing his clothes, you still cleaning the house. And you're not doing that with, you know, this is my job. That's just what you were trained to do. And I think that kind of training, you know, how you want to ride in a Bugatti, how you want to go on a yacht, but you don't know how to wash your own clothes. You don't know how to vacuum. You don't know how to put that. You don't know how to... Rami, you want, you know what I'm saying? Boom, boom, boom. Hey, who gonna put the money on your books? I put the money on. No, you can go to jail. Take your black ass to jail. Month are you? So have some. You know, it's a different energy. It's not like maybe. Okay, thank you for your criticism. Thank you for your honest, constructive criticism, and you know we can get it better. Or cook it for yourself.
Yeah.
You want a cup of noodle? You want some ramen? Somebody else come cook it.
Really disturbing is that every nationality of women, except for so-called Black women, understand their roles and understand why they were created. The so-called white woman know why she was created: to be a wife, to be a mother, to help her husband, to help guide her house, and assist where he needs help. The Asian woman understand that. Arab women understand that. The East Indian woman understand that. So on and so forth. It's only the so-called Black woman that does not understand why she was created. And it's simple. You was literally created to be a wife, to be a mother, to be a helpmeet to your husband, to love him, to love your children, to guide the house, and shine in your role. That's simple. Everything outside of that, you have been deceived and indoctrinated by the so-called white man.
This morning, I woke up to a lot of comments about a podcast I did last Friday, and I realized that I seriously offended my black women in a way that was not intended. I think that clip was taken out of context. I know that was clickbait because the full answer to the question, which was, why are black men dating outside of their race, marrying outside of their race? And my answer was lengthy, but that clip was sizzling, I guess, and should have been smarter in not falling into those traps. But the real answer was I was talking about the new generation and social media and the entitlement and how, being raised by a single black woman, as millions of us others were and have been, the absentee father, the absence of a father in a home, forced black moms to teach their young women and their young men, be independent. You don't need a man. Do it, you could do it on your own, which then, as us being grown now, black men only knowing how to provide and protect, and when that's removed, kind of finding our space and what that means for us. It was deeper than that answer, and I am truly sorry.
It's gonna be hard because he a woman beater. So what you talking about? What you talking about? It's hard to, just like they say, if you're going to be a preacher, we gotta be able to see what you've been preaching. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be a woman beater and be out here preaching. The two don't add up. It don't add up. Now, I'm not going to say the things that he was saying. I can see where he was coming from, like in all aspects of it. I can see where he was coming from, but it was just the wrong messenger. That's it. It was the wrong messenger. And it's always, a lot of the times they go back to old times. Oh, back in the 1800s and come on, please, we're out of there. It's in times now where both people in the house have to work. You feel what I'm saying? If you have two people in the household, the both of y'all got to work. There's no going around it. It's no making it cute. It's no putting a bow on it. It is what it is. So
And that's a huge difference right there. But let me ask you,
exactly.
Debbie, do you know if he has ever, like, 'cause I'm not very familiar, but do you know if he's ever publicly said anything about the woman beating and all of that stuff? And
From what I can remember, it was like, I think because that's the reason why he got let go from Scandal.
Right.
The situation with him and his wife, he was putting his hands on her. I don't know if it was in an elevator or if it was just in period general. This is just what he does. But I know I have heard that he has anger issues. So I don't know if that's something that he has worked on and he's trying to work on. But as far as him coming out publicly, I cannot honestly remember if he has. The only thing what we know of is always a court hearing. It's always what he has done and what they are saying he has done.
Let me say this, and as far as the anger that, first of all, there are a lot of people that show their anger violently, and
Yeah.
then there's a lot of people that show their anger in other ways.
Mhm.
And both of those ways can be too extreme.
Yeah.
And it messes with the relationships around you.
Mhm.
So with Columbus Short, fam, you would really think twice if it was a dude there that would pop you
Back.
harder than what you popped him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think what it is he feels like he could get away with that
Mhm.
with a woman. And
Mhm.
then to be discussing and trying to be profound. Hey, look, everybody loves education, right?
Right.
Everybody, however, when you have a situation like what his situation was, criticizing a
Yeah.
black woman,
Yeah.
you know, it's all type of messy.
he
Ain't
was
on top of
probably
it. You ain't
more
even doing
in
nothing right now. Like,
that interview was probably, that's him kind of speaking from the he's in therapy type
that's
of
what I say.
point of view
Mm-hmm.
rather than like this is like generally what it is, because obviously, these are your true personal feelings, probably things that you've experienced before, and that's probably what led to whatever it led to, So yeah, I agree. He's not necessarily the right messenger. But I do also, I'm gonna also say that I do understand some of the points that he made of where he's coming from. And it could have been taken out of context if it wasn't him that was saying it, if it was somebody else that was saying it. There are certain things that were truths, and historically, why Black women are a certain way, and all of that stuff. There's some truths to
Gurus, I got a question. How does somebody break into your house with your brother asleep in the house and your brother doesn't wake up to hear a word of it?
If you got a big ass house.
It's not so funny situation for Marlon Wayans and his famously comic family. Cops say LA area crib is the latest target of burglars. Law enforcement sources tell TMZ Marlon wasn't home, but his brother Keenan Ivory Wayans was around 2:30 a.m. last Saturday when two brazen thieves hit the house. We're told they snuck into his backyard, shattered a back window, and entered the house. Keenan was awakened by some noise, but didn't realize what was happening. Thinking it was nothing, we're told he shrugged it off and went back to sleep. How in the hell?
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I know people that sleep through anything. So, I mean, he could be one of those.
Yeah, that's crazy. I wouldn't even, I don't know.
I mean, that's very,
I wouldn't.
that's possible, especially if you have,
Right.
if you're in a big house, you're tired, you're a heavy sleeper, whatever, you might hear something might wake you up, and you're like, okay. Like if you gonna do that, you might as well take it all the way. Like, let's go
Right.
upstairs, let me see what's in the rooms, like all of that. Like, what was the purpose?
They went in there. Yeah, they had to be high because they went in there, didn't even look for the cash, didn't look for no safe, didn't look for nothing like that. It don't
Yeah,
say that the man that they got off with a certain amount that was valuable.
yeah.
So
I,
you think like they was like, maybe high and they didn't like plan this all the way through or something like
it definitely doesn't sound planned out. I mean, this is just my experience and my past. I got a case that's like that for some other, and I went in there and I was on drugs, right? But I know a bunch of other people that was doing the same things, and it was planned out. So if it's planned out, you coming up out of there with something of
Right, right.
value,
Something
because
valuable.
I'm risking something of value, which is my life. So I'm
that.
coming
Right.
out with something. Now, if you go in there and you're all high, that adrenaline and panic starts to set in, and then you're like, oh, I got to get up out of here, right? So you don't leave out with anything. Plus, it, like you said, if it was one of his houses that was like the dummy house, or like ain't nothing really flashy out there, then you gonna step in here and be like, oh, this looks like my grandma's crib. Like I can't get nothing out of here. So it's a weird situation for
Not to
sure.
mention, I mean, then you gotta wonder, because in those areas, sometimes when you turn on that block, they got somebody on that block in the front that's
Mm-hmm.
letting the cars through.
Yeah,
So, but
Mm.
they obviously went on foot though. They
yeah,
must have found a different way to get in there.
yeah. And what can you really take, if you on foot?
Yeah. I
If there
mean,
ain't no cash out, what you gonna take a TV? Like you gonna get spotted
I'm
quick.
saying, like, you maybe jewelry, but
Jewelry.
Right.
like in the area that you're in, you didn't even attempt to like go throughout the entire house, obviously, because his brother was there and nothing happened. But
So
I mean,
you robbed Marlon Wayans' house. You didn't rob Lil Durk or somebody that wears jewelry and always flashes
Right,
cash.
right.
So what was you expecting to get? Like, yeah, he's a prominent figure because we know him. We grew up.
But he
Saw
said he
his
not
longevity.
Right.
But he's not every interview. Like, he's never been a flashy dude. So what was your intention? Like, what did you think he was going to get?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, it's been a good show. I want to thank Semi for coming on.
You.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Sammy.
That's right. And for everybody out there, this is the Lady Guru Show. And we are out of here.
Where my girls at?
All right.
All right, man, no doubt.
You have a blessed night.
All right.
Keep on watching while the